Hey everybody, the Bong is here for today's weekly Q&A for September 28th, 2014. If you have any other questions that you haven't asked this week, be sure to put them in the comments for next week. Because next week will actually be my last Q&A session. Not because I'm getting tired of it, but because I feel like most of the questions I get are getting repeated, and I'm looking to move on to other things, even though I've only had 7 or 8 of these. Maybe, yeah, I think it's around that average. So, anyways, semantics aside, let's move on to the questions. Sakemoto asks, will you LP either Final Fantasy VII, Pokemon Sapphire, or Rosencrantz Stilette? Final Fantasy VII is still a maybe. I still find that game a bit too overrated, in my opinion. There were much other Final Fantasy games that are much more deserving of glory. For PlayStation 1 ones, I would say 9 was better than 7. As for Pokemon Sapphire, I don't see myself doing that, whether as an Egglock, a Nuzlocke, or Mono type run or whatever, because I've already Let's Played Emerald some time ago. And as for Rosencrantz Stilette, I've heard of that game. It looks pretty hard, so if I can get some practice into it, maybe, but don't hold your breath. I would probably do pretty bad at that game. He also asked, what programs do you use to record your videos and voice? Well, I use Camtasia Studio, Fraps, Bandicam, and Pinnacle Studio, depending on what game I'm recording. And I usually do my voice there as well, though when it comes to my capture card Let's Plays, I do use Audacity. Adam Valero asks, do you have memory of Nintendo Power? Well, of course. When I was a teenager, I would usually get Nintendo Powers almost every month. And he also asks, will you ever do a drunk LP where you play a game whale drunk? I think he meant while, but no, I don't see myself doing a drunk Let's Play. I might do a drunk video, but not an entire LP where I'm loaded drunk. Not just because alcohol can be a bit expensive from time to time, but because I actually like my liver, so I don't see myself drinking that much. He also asked what TV shows are watching. TV shows don't watch, they get watched. But seriously, I don't really watch a lot of TV. I mean, sometimes I watch wrestling, sometimes I watch whatever sports are on, or whatever's on the Food Network, because, yeah, I like eating. Even stuff that I know I will never make in my life. It just looks good. And sometimes I watch South Park, Family Guy, Simpsons, a whole bunch of other shows depending on what's popular. And there are certain niche shows, but I don't really remember all of them much. GoodGamer1994 asks, what are some of your favorite souls to use in Castlevania Aria of Sorrow? That was actually one of my favorite Castlevania GBA games. I really need to relook into that sometime in the future. Maybe not on my own channel, though. I would say the giant bat because, flying around is nice. You don't have to worry about, where you're limited to. The Flame Demon is an awesome bullet soul because you're just firing the flames like Dracula does. And for the yellow souls, I would have to go with the Peeping Eye or the Headhunter. Personally, because I like to know where the secret passages are, and then once I found them, then Headhunter is pretty good if you get lots of souls. But I find that the attack doesn't scale up that much, so you're better off just putting that elsewhere. Killer Mantle also had an awesome soul as well, especially when you're going after those iron golems. They can really wreck them in a hurry. Hideo L. Rishima asks, how fast is the internet you have over there, the download speed and the upload speed? I don't really remember my download speed and upload speed, to be honest with you, but it's actually pretty damn good. When it comes to, certain videos around maybe upwards to 300 or 400 megabytes, and somewhere around that range, it'll take around 5 or 6 minutes to get uploaded, if the internet is actually good here at the time. Sometimes it gets a little shoddy, but then again, there's like other stuff that goes on, like people are using cell phones, like surfing the internet there, or playing other consoles that use the internet, so that can hamper the upload speed from time to time. But either way, I find that my internet is good when it isn't shoddy. Prince Watercress asks, is there anything from America that you heard of and want but is not available in Canada besides the real WWE Network service used in America and worldwide, of course? Yeah, we get the $11.99 version, but we still get the pay-per-views, so that's pretty good. Anything in America? There are some things that America has, but isn't available in Canada. It's just hard to think of, but it's mostly like restaurant chains, like maybe Chili's or God knows what else, though I wouldn't go there every single day. I wouldn't say Arby's, because I mean, we got that in Canada, just not this part of Canada. We don't even have a Red Lobster or a Taco Bell here, which blows my mind in all likelihood. I would personally like the American version of KFC. Like, it almost feels like home style, like the chicken is all crunchy and stuff, as opposed to here it's slightly much saltier and a little bit greasier. And there's not that many KFCs in St. John's. Like, I think there's only 2 or 3 in the entire city that I can think of, which is very weird because years ago it was not like that at all. That doesn't matter. Anyways, his other question was, do you think you will run out of games to Let's Play one day? Probably not. If anything, if I do run out of games that I like to Let's Play, I will end up Let's Playing games that I don't want to play at all. And the indie market is still very good, so trust me, I'm not going to be running out of games anytime soon, if at all. Magic Skywyak asks, are you ready for Smash 3DS? Also, will you be getting any of the amiibos to use or collect? Yes, I am quite ready for a Smash Bros. 3DS. In fact, I got the demo on my birthday, which is September 19th. And I did get a couple of uses into it. I've been practicing against my friends, and I find that I'm somewhere around the casual level of Smash Bros. I wouldn't say I'm terrible when I'm going against my friends, that I'm just going to suck ass all the time. I'm just saying that I don't really know all the strats and all the game-breaking combos that can destroy everyone. Also, I will be going to the Smash Bros. Launch party that a Facebook group here in Newfoundland, they actually run weekly Smash Bros. Events, and they're having a launch party there, which is going to be at the University Center Council Chambers Friday, October 3rd, starting at 6 p.m. Newfoundland time, which would be 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully Smash Bros. Doesn't get delayed, otherwise the party will be very awkward. I mean, hey, we're celebrating Smash Bros. 3DS, but we can play Project M, is that okay? Well, there will be other Smash Bros. Setups as well, if you don't have Smash 3DS. And also, if you're going there, be sure to bring your 3DS. Street passes are pretty awesome. I'm still a long way to go for me to fill all my panels. It's probably going to take years. As for the amiibos, I'm probably going to hold off on them unless there's a very good reason for me to get them. I will not be rushing to get them right away. Patros2006 asks, who are your favorite Sonic the Hedgehog characters? God, that's a pretty tough one. I do like Tails, and I like Shadow. Personally, I'm not that big on Sonic, because, I don't really think about the Sonic lore all that much. Again, you will probably not catch me dead playing another Sonic game for a long, long while, because I'll just do pretty bad in it. I was more of a Nintendo person rather than a Sega person. There are other people in the Much Games crew that are Sonic people. I'm not one of them by a long shot. Colonel112 asks, what was your favorite moment watching someone else's Let's Play of a specific game? Again, those are some pretty tough ones as well. Like, I'm trying to think about, like, certain ones. Like, well, I know Madry Bread recently did a Let's Play of Watch Dogs, which was a game that he put $70 in and really did not like. In fact, when he finished the game, he deleted it right away. There were certain moments in the game that he absolutely laughed at and did not like. For example, you're going to this underground club that deals with some kind of sex trade, and he was told to, like, hand over your weapons. Where the cutscene shows Aiden giving him a pistol, despite the fact that he's also armed with a grenade launcher, yet they don't show that. Another thing he laughed at, calling, like, the next-gen experience, was during a shootout against some fixers, and then when he jumped down a hill, he saw one of the fixers was clipping through a trailer door like it was GoldenEye, and he was just standing there thinking, can I shoot him, like, right in the arm through the door? And he could. It was a totally unpolished game. That's why I'm thankful I did not buy Watch Dogs. I'd rather watch someone else do it. And if it was really good, then maybe I would have bought it. But I'm probably going to avoid it altogether now as a result of that. Other than that, I can't even think of any awesome moments on other people's Let's Plays that are most notable, or even on my own. In terms of streams, I would say Zio's I Want to Be the Boshi, where he thought he killed Cheetah Man, and then when he died, the tornadoes that were on screen honed in on him and killed him instantly. The freak out moment was just absolutely worth it. Big Mac Special Sauce says, I have a couple questions here, and I really hope to hear what you have to say about the second one. His first question was, do you like rap and dubstep such as Skrillex or Kanye West? I wouldn't really consider Kanye West as a rapper. Just more like black man white speak. That's what Kanye West is. I don't really care for him that much. He's too overrated. And dubstep, if I want to hear screeching noises, I got a microwave. That's good enough for me. I do love to get pumped, but there are, like, hard rock, metal, techno music, electric music, not dubstep or rap. Well, some rap is good, but probably nothing from Kanye West. And his second question was, can you name your favorite consoles in generations 1 to 8? I would not be able to answer all of them because I started at generation 3, which of course was the NES. 4 was the Super Nintendo. 5 was the Nintendo 64. Yeah, there's a bit of a bias there. 6 was the PlayStation 2, actually. Even though GameCube had some awesome games, PlayStation 2 had more of them. 7, of course... Oh, it's hard to decide between the Wii and the PlayStation 3. I'm going to go with the Wii on this one. And on the 8th... I don't know if the 3DS can be considered 8th gen, but let's go with that anyway. If handhelds don't count, then I'm going to go with the Wii U because I don't have an Xbox One or PS4. I probably don't plan on getting those two either, probably not for a good while. Once I'm more financially stable and have, like, a bigger place, then I might consider getting a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, but other than that, forget it. Eddie R. asks, well, he comments and he says, trust me, Sylveon is a good Pokemon. And he'll have some other questions for next time. His first one was, are you interested at all in Hyrule Warriors? I'm really hyped for it as a Dynasty Warriors, Samurai Warriors fan, and I want to hear your opinion. Of course I'm interested. I got the game 2 days ago. Well, yesterday from the time I'm recording this. And I put like a couple hours or so into it in both the Legend mode and Adventure mode. In fact, I just recently played it again just to go to free mode and get those heart pieces and heart container for Link that I missed in the first mission. And it wasn't that hard to find. I mean, I'm not going to spoil it for you. I'm sure you guys can figure it out yourselves. Luckily, I'm not struggling with finding the gold Skulltulas anytime soon. I would highly recommend it if you're into Dynasty Warriors or Samurai Warriors, even if you're not big on the Zelda series, because the gameplay runs pretty well, in my opinion, and it has a lot to offer, especially with the adventure mode. Adventure mode could get a little bit tedious, like Dynasty Warriors 7's Conquest mode, but I think they're offering a little bit more variety. Like certain conditions, you can use certain items to get more stuff, and you might be restricted to certain characters. Out of all the ones that I got unlocked so far, which is like only 4 so far, I find that I'm more used to Impa. Lana would be second. No, Lana would be third. Link would be second, and Sheik would be fourth. Her harp is not that bad. I'm talking about Sheik, by the way. However, hopefully I can unlock some other weapons for her later on, and I'm pretty sure I will. I haven't really gotten used to Impa's Naginata yet, because I'm finding that her great swords have a little bit more variety, considering I have more of them. He also asked, what's my favorite dessert? That is a tough one, but I really love toffee pudding. It's like, little bread puddings with like hot toffee sauce and a bit of ice cream and whipped cream. That is awesome. Cheesecake, I also like. I also like tiramisu. And there's this one restaurant that I go to, which is like a Brazilian steakhouse, and one of their desserts is grilled pineapple with a bit of sugar and cinnamon on it. It's to die for. Trust me, if you haven't grilled pineapple or, I don't know, even bananas or grapefruit, do so. I highly recommend it. The sugars in those fruits will help them caramelize, so it'll be even better. He also asked, what's your favorite board game? Actually, I like Scrabble. It's for one that likes RPGs and platformers, I do use my brain an awful lot. And Scrabble is one of those games where I use my brain even more so. I love playing Scrabble because I can flex my muscle and just show off certain words and plan out a bit of strategy. Monopoly is one of those games where you want to kill someone. Or yourself, because you just keep landing on Boardwalk when somebody has a hotel there. It's like, oh, why don't you just take my blood then? Just fine, I quit. I don't play anymore. I got like $27 and you got hotels on pretty much one side of the map. God, I don't want to play anymore. Just take everything. Damn. It's so frustrating, Monopoly is. And I've heard there are games that are even more frustrating, like Risk. Personally, I like to try Risk, but I've played like other adaptations of it online. That's actually even more stressful. Tic Tac Zack asks, can you let's play Yu-Gi-Oh! Reshef of Destruction since you played Sacred Cards? Maybe, however, it'll be one of those games that I would loathe myself if I did, because Reshef of Destruction tried to use the same system as Sacred Cards, only they completely bastardized it. You don't get that much experience when you win a duel. Card costs are super high. You also get a set amount of life points, and that when you finish a duel, they don't replenish for the next one unless you went home to rest or save your game. That means if you go into like a quest that you can't leave and you start losing life points like crazy, you can't replenish them unless you got cards that replenish life points. And even then, you might have to have like 69,000 battles just to like put in like, I don't know, blue medicine. God, it was a terrible game when I played that. I never finished it, and I've seen parts of the story. It just looks so tacky and really unpolished. Reshef of Destruction was definitely a fail compared to the Sacred Cards. I liked Sacred Cards, but Reshef of Destruction, don't get me started on that. That one was bad. I'm talking Deadly Towers bad. He also asked, do you watch a lot of other YouTubers or Let's Players? If so, who are your favorite? Well, I got quite a few. I mean, Ryan Bragg, ColinL112, LP Grotus, Theo Lightning, Sephiroth1204, Oldward Gamer, Colette NL180 when she does her yearly uploads of maybe 1 or 2 videos. I hope you get back into it someday. Congratulations on being a mother-to-be. And who else did I not list? Taju22, well, right now he still does Let's Plays through his phone because he dealt with an unfortunate robbery, which he's recovering from. Actually, no, he wasn't beat up during the robbery. Don't get nervous. But I mean, it was still hard hitting. I mean, if you were robbed, you'd be hard hit too. Others outside of the Much Games crew, I like Madry Bread, I Heart Movies, Lancer D 1984, Kenshin 1913. Out of a favorite, I don't really have a favorite. As long as they put out like good content, that's good enough for me. Jennifer Kunza asks, well, would you do Haunted Castle for the arcade? Probably not. I've tried that game. I'm terrible at it. And it doesn't really help that you hardly get any continues. Well, you get continues, but you have a limited amount. In an arcade game, no less. That means if you keep failing, you gotta start from the beginning. It's terrible. It's a bad idea. She also asked, do you like the Castlevania music? I find the Castlevania games tend to have a lot of good music, like Super Castlevania 4, Rondo of Blood had an awesome track, Symphony of the Night had the best track of Castlevania games, Lament of Innocence had a pretty good track. Lords of Shadow tries to have a good soundtrack, though I find that most of the music actually sounds the same. Like, almost like one or two songs, they just remix them. And it's too bad, because I was one of the few that actually liked Lords of Shadow. The DLC, however, that I did not like, because one of the puzzles was just so frustrating. I couldn't even finish the DLC because of it. And would you do James Bond 007? She also asked. Probably not anytime soon. Though I would like to in the future, just not right now, and it's not in the cards. Anime Manga Gamer asks, who are your favorite Robot Masters in Mega Man 10? I would go with Blade Man. Commando Man was pretty awesome. Who was another one that I liked? I'd probably go with, what was the ice one? Chill Man? I like Chill Man, though his stage was pretty hard. He also asked, would you ever wear the Mask of Majora? Maybe. It's not like I'm going to get cursed or anything. I mean, you can make a mask, it's not going to curse me. The curse is fictional. I'm probably not going to go crazy. In fact, maybe I already am. He also asked, have you ever watched any of the Mario cartoons? Yes, I have watched the Mario cartoons. Even the one that had those mini parts with The Legend of Zelda. Those are my childhood. Even though the movie that they made in 1993, it was terrible. I didn't see it, but I've heard lots of bad things about it. Well, actually, I did see bits and pieces of it. What they did was just awful. Like, what were they thinking? Seriously, that movie was so bad that it's not good. Yeah, I went there. That's as bad as it gets, that it can't be good. Paul Province asks, have you ever heard of Humongous Entertainment, and if so, would you consider playing their games? I've only heard about them when I looked them up on Wikipedia like a half hour ago from before I started this. And I recognize some of the games that they do, or the series that they do, like Putt-Putt, so to speak. I probably would not be doing their games. I already have like a large enough library as it is, and I don't want to congest it any further. Uros Jedov asks, what consoles do you own? I have a Nintendo Wii that still plays GameCube games. I have a Nintendo Wii U, a Sony PlayStation 2, Sony PlayStation 3, and I have a Nintendo 64 that is definitely going to need repairs because the reset button is jammed. Not to mention the one controller that it came with, the L button, is broken. So I'm likely going to have to reinvest in getting that N64 repaired. Not to mention get a new controller, but likely I won't be needing that anytime soon because there's virtual console games on the Wii. Alright, Knight asks, if you were thrown into an RPG, what class or role would you play? like what job? I can see myself as probably a thief because I love stealth, and being able to steal items from enemies could be pretty cool. Final Fantasy IX kind of overdoes it because most bosses tend to have 2 or 3 items that you can only get from them. Otherwise, you'd probably have to wait like 2 or 3 towns over before you can buy that same equipment. That was a bit annoying because most of the times you would just fail at it. Teju22 asks, what's the oldest song that is your favorite? I like Gel by Collective Soul. I like most of their music. My sister thought I was weird because I was born in 1986, yet I liked Collective Soul, which was like 90s music. I'm like, okay, I know what I like. You know what I mean? Foo Fighters has some awesome stuff as well, like Hero and Everlong and Learn to Fly. I wouldn't really consider them old, but I like their music. He also asks, do you like to go to Costco? That's a random question to get. I only go when my mom's in town because she got a membership. Sometimes I like to eat at the food court, but I didn't go the last time I was there because we had other food in the house. Chris M2801 asks, have you ever created a hack for a game or will you make one soon? No, I don't really have a lot of creativity when it comes to making hacks or video games anytime soon. It's likely not going to happen. Fireman21134 asks, how big of a racing fan are you? And if you are, what series of racing do you watch? Apparently he likes NASCAR. I would like NASCAR too if they had like those floating question blocks that fire like red shells and all that. Only then would it be entertaining. Personally, I don't watch any kind of racing. He also asked what Pokemon game is your favorite out of the ones you have played and why. He said his would be X and Y. That's a good reason. I mean, it's new and has a lot to offer. My favorite overall would be either Emerald or Crystal. I think I'd go with Crystal because even though it doesn't have as much as the Pokemon games of now do, at least you were able to have 2 sets of gyms to go to, rather than just 8. You had 16. I kind of wish the other versions had that variety where you can just go to previous regions. Like, for instance, why can't in the Hoenn remakes could we go to Johto? Or even Sinnoh? We should definitely be getting like 16 badges to go for. And maybe have like an upgraded Pokemon League where the levels of the Elite Four there are even higher. And like have all of them have 6 Pokemon. Like make it the ultimate challenge. But if they did that, then what motivation is there to make more Pokemon games if they already set the bar as high as it can go? Personally, I would love to see they do more stuff with the gym leaders as opposed to what they did in Battle Chateau and X and Y. Like, they should have made them even stronger. Like, once you get to, like, Grand Duke, the gym leaders and Elite Four should have, like, between 4 and 6 Pokemon. Make it as tough as it can go. You get lots of experience, you get lots of money, and have the Elite Four rematches be even stronger. That's not what I would have done. I never tried the Elite Four again in X and Y after beating them, so maybe they already are stronger. Who knows? He also asks, what is your preferred way of playing games? As in playing them blind or reading about them first, and why is that? When it comes to certain things like platformers that don't really have a lot of collectibles, I like to go into them blind. But if there's like a lot of stuff to collect, like say Zelda or Mario or Banjo-Kazooie and whatnot, I'd rather read up on them just in case I'm going to be stuck in a certain puzzle. RPGs I love to read about because, what if I approach a boss a certain way and I'm thinking, oh, that 18-minute boss battle could have been done in 2 minutes if I did that particular move. Because, I'll be getting those comments all the time. And who knows, maybe some people will learn new strategies from stuff that I learned. He also asks, for his last question, what emulators do you use most often when playing the games off of them on the PC, laptop, and why? Personally, I'd rather not go into details of what emulators I use. You would have to figure those out on your own. I'm trying my best to avoid using emulators if I can. Like, for example, I'm actually incorporating more capture card Let's Plays into my repertoire. But if it's pretty old and hard to get, then, well, emulators help me out. Aaron Mulligan asks, what's the worst game you ever played? Either Dragon's Lair for the NES or Superman 64. I think I've answered that question before. Midnight Raiden asks, hey, ever heard of ROM hack games for the Wii? Yes, I have. I believe a Chilean retro gamer either Let's Played or streamed a new Super Mario Bros. Wii hack. I don't remember what it is, but I don't see myself doing any ROM hacks for the Wii. Dan Meeks asks, hey Bong, sorry if this is redundant. As someone with a large number of games under your belt, is there a game or series you played that you most like to see be revitalized on current-gen systems? I can think of two off the top of my head. One is ActRaiser, preferably more like the first one rather than the second one. The second one would be Breath of Fire. The latest Breath of Fire does not count because that was released on mobile, and that's not really how you would want to bring back a very popular RPG. Breath of Fire's 1 and 2 were awesome. Now, I've never played 4, though I'd like to, and I've only played bits of 3. But I really hope that series does get brought back, like, to its former glory. Mikey Byrne asks, what is your favorite comic book? I don't really read comic books, actually, so I wouldn't be able to answer that. Daniel Early asks, what is your credit card and social secretary? I think he means security. Darklit Zelda 543 asks, have you barbecued anything besides meat or things that tend to be barbecued? I've barbecued my sanity in Twilight Princess trying to get certain pose. Does that count? But really, I don't personally do any of the barbecuing. Though, if anything, barbecue some fruit or vegetables. Like, those definitely go well on the barbecue. Pizza is also good on the barbecue. Or tacos, or tortilla wraps. You can even put burritos on the barbecue, fajitas. I wouldn't put nachos on the grill, unless you've got like a foil paper on the bottom of them. And even then, what's the point? You can just melt the cheese another way. DJ Mode 12 asks, I know you have done Dynasty Warriors 4 plus Extreme Legends, well, Legend Mode only, as a Let's Play, plus mentioning 8 in this video. I had to ask which one is your favorite in the series, minus the first one since it's technically not the same as the others. Also, really appreciate you following my LP of 3. Well, of course, I definitely followed your Dynasty Warriors 3 Let's Play, and I'm glad that you're actually doing the 5th weapons that are done through 3 and Extreme Legends, because there are actually hardly any, if at all, any runs on how to get the 5th weapons in that series, which is weird. In terms of my favorite, I'd definitely go with either 8 or 5. 5 was pretty good. It's been definitely making a comeback because I liked 4 more than 5, but when I started getting better at 5, I liked that one more. 8 just definitely was more newer and had more stuff to offer. 6 was bad. I thought I loved 7, but when I started like comparing it to 8, I was realized, wow, 7 was really lackluster. And its extra mode outside of the campaigns was tedious as hell. Didn't even have a free mode, which is weird. And you didn't even have the traditional way of obtaining like ultimate weapons for characters. You could just go to a certain hex. Oh, there you go, you got it. Or you would have to get a certain character to buy those weapons, which were super expensive. I can think of the 2 characters that you actually had to go to the blacksmith to buy those weapons from. And it was Lumong of Wu and Guohai of Jin. If you went to the blacksmith with any other character, you can't get those weapons because they don't have the smithy skill. Also, you had to get a lot of experience for the smithy skill in the first place, so you can buy the weapons, then you gotta get the money for the weapons. It was a bad idea in certain perspectives. So yeah, I definitely go with 8. Brenton Ma asks, is there a long, undisclosed queue of Let's Plays that you plan to do, or are you more or less spontaneous with your long-term planning? Assuming you get a lot of various requests, well, I definitely do. Is it impossible to estimate the time you'd LP any one request? Well, yeah, it's impossible to estimate the time because you never know how long it's going to be. Depending on how long you're going to plan out your videos, it could be 15 minutes, it could be 20 minutes, or in some cases 30 minutes. I do have a confirmed to-do list on my channel, though I'm trying to keep it small. Personally, I would rather surprise some people rather than have everything out in advance. Because then the surprise is no longer there. I like to keep things surprise-like, though some people don't like surprises, and that's fine too. He also asks, imagine you end up meeting with one of your favorite video game characters. Who would it be? Describe a scenario of what you do with that character if you hung out with him or her for one day. I would probably be hanging out with Mario. And in terms of what we'd be doing, well, hopefully he likes things other than mushrooms, because I'm not big on mushrooms. I guess he likes pasta because he portrays an Italian, and, well, that sounds racist. But I don't think we'd be saving the princess. I mean, it's not like I'm going to be there as oh, the princess got kidnapped on the one day you decide to show up. If anything, we'd just be playing sports games or party games. Though, if we're playing party games, I prefer we leave the car at home. That was one thing I didn't like about Mario Party 9, was the car system. I don't know why they brought it back in Island Tour. It makes no sense to me. And also, wait, I think they're bringing the car back in Mario Party 10 as well. That doesn't make any sense. I didn't even like it. His third question was, do you describe yourself as having a Newfie accent? No, I do not. In fact, I've had people call me American because I sound a little bit more westernized rather than Newfie. I just need to quench my throat there. Yeah, beer was the drink of choice, apparently. If not, do you know of anyone who fall more closely to that sort of stereotype? I'm sure there are a lot of Newfie accents out there. Like a comedian, Mark Rich, definitely has a Newfie accent. Other ones, I don't know if Rick Mercer, who's very popular in CBC, has a Newfie accent. He sounds a little bit more on the western side of Canada, probably because he spends a lot of time there. That being said, however, I'm sure you just look up Newfie accent, you're going to hear a lot of strong ones. Alright, the Jennings1002 asks, when is your birthday? And by that, I mean what month? It was on September. In fact, I mentioned that last week or something. He also asks, have you ever smoked weed before in your life? No. Unless you're talking about Hyrule Warriors when I had Link using the magic rod and I was torching grass. That was the closest to weed I've ever smoked. He also asks, can you LP this Sonic game called Robotic Mean Bean Machine? I believe that's a game that's similar to a Puyo Puyo or whatever it's called. Probably not. I've tried that game, I'm pretty bad at it. And just like Tetris or Tetris Attack, eventually I'm going to start panicking and make a lot of mistakes. He also asks how many Q&A answer videos are going to make for this series. I just said right in the beginning that next week will be the last because I'm running out of different types of questions and I like to move on to other things. And for his final question, can you LP this game called Cybermorph for the Atari Jaguar? I don't even have an Atari Jaguar, and because it's a different kind of console that's not that popular compared to Sega or Sony or Nintendo, I'm sure emulation on that is pretty weird and, unpolished. So it's likely not going to happen. But anyways, that's all the questions for today, so stay tuned for next week when I do my final Q&A session. See you later, everyone, and thanks for watching.